Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me on a scorching day here in Italy to share a very special experience with you involving this, the Pagani Codalunga. Today we're here at the factory and I'm going to have the opportunity to take this car for a first drive to share what it's all about with you. This is a product from Pagani's Grandi Complicazioni division. There are only 5 production cars, taking the requests of clients to create something even more special, if you will, even more bespoke. This particular car harks back to memories of 60s and 70s prototype race cars. This long tail, quite literally Codalunga translates to long tail. You have this smooth, clean, elegant design. It's a car that I've actually been lucky to ride passenger in before when it was unveiled at the Goodwood Festival of Speed last year. I've also seen it at other events, including the ICE in St. Moritz. But today, it's time to drive this, to understand more of what the Grandi Complicazioni cars are all about, what the idea is to create something that can really go beyond the norm, that can still be fully homologated, fully registered. This is a homologated vehicle for the United States market, which is really quite incredible. So today we're here at Pagani to experience the Codalunga. Let's start with a walk around, a quick overview, if you will, about this beautiful machine and what it represents. Now, it's one of the hottest weeks of the year here in Italy. It is absolutely boiling, but we're out here at Pagani's HQ. Behind these windows, you have the museum, then the assembly hall, where of course their works of art come together. Products like this. Now, the Codalunga that you see here is presented in Azzurro, Sardinia, named after the beautiful Italian island of Sardinia, where I've been lucky to drive a few times. And you can see the elegance in the design, the smoothness of the shapes, taking the Huayra platform, if you will, and the beating heart of the Roadster BC, taking it even further, but focusing heavily on the design. And as I mentioned before, one of the most striking things about this to me and about the Grandi Complicazioni divisions, which is of course inspired by Swiss watches, is that these cars are all homologated. It's not a show and display type project. It's fully developed, fully tested, fully run through all of the motions, but you're looking at a car with a 6-litre NA V12 twin turbocharged, making 840 horsepower, max power at 5,900 RPM. Torque, however, 1,100 Newton meters, which you get all the way from 2,000 RPM up to 5,600. That's seriously impressive. When it comes to the weight, it's only 1,280 kilos. The exhaust system is unique to this. You have that familiar quad layout design, but ceramic coated, the first ceramic coated exhaust system on a production road car from Pagani, weighing only, get this, 4.4 kilograms. That's exceptional. The entire car, to house a 6-litre V12 yet still be so light, is obviously very impressive as well. If we take a look at some of the elements of the design inside, we have the gull-wing doors that open up, as we know from the Huayra Coupe, but look at the materials and the way this is presented. Of course, the carbon fibre cage, the monocoque, if you will, that you have inside, but all of the traditional finishing and details that we know of Pagani models to really give you that very, very bespoke experience and feel of the car. In fact, this project was born from a client's wish, really, to make a car with a longer tail. We've seen these limited run products from Pagani directly off the back of their customers before. In fact, if you go way back, they began with the Zonda Cinque, one of the most revered Pagani models, followed up with the 760, followed up with various different models that have been made as one-offs, for example, then the Imola, the Codalunga, and no doubt more projects going through towards the future as well. But the idea with the design of this, and you can see by the effectively single monotone paint that you have for the exterior, is to keep it simple, to keep it elegant, to keep it smart, to feel like if this was on the start grid of the 24 Hours of Le Mans back in the 1960s or 70s, it would blend right in. It's that kind of styling, that kind of design. It maintains these active flaps on the front, which Horacio Pagani actually penned way back in the days of the Zonda, but of course didn't have the budget to put those into development and into reality back at the time. The materials, the carbon fibre, the different types of carbon fibre that are used, the different fibres, again, way ahead of time in terms of the development of this. You've got the contrast with the wheels, with this golden bronze paint, the Codalunga logos, of course, marked into those as well. Our familiar mirrors that sit literally out on the wings, every element being a design piece in its own right, even the latches that you have to open the front clam and of course the rear clam of the car as well. Various different intakes subtly over the top of the bodywork for the cooling and towards the engine. We continue with these active flaps again around towards the rear, but this is where it's all significantly different. It's 360 millimeters longer, so 36 centimeters longer, approximately this much than the regular car, if you will, but this is all new. It, in many ways, I think, gave us an insight ahead of time as to what the new Utopia would actually be like, but new tail-light designs, no grills. If you come in closely, it's all open here, both for the view that you have through to the car, but also obviously for the cooling effect of airflow coming out from the engine as well. Everything about it stands out in a very special way, but you know what? I think it's probably time to come round to the driver's side of this to prepare to take a seat and get ready to go and take it for a drive. Let's take a step then inside the Pagani Codalunga. Just take a look at this. Now, before I press the start button, take a look at the key. Even for the key of the car, they've reshaped this as well to have the longer tail, and that houses in a small little space just there. So, press of here, of course. Hear the fuel pump whirring and getting ready, foot on the brake. Let's start the V12 of the Pagani Codalunga. It's a new sound for this car. It's a sound that means business. Look at the execution though, the presentation of all of this, the dials, this traditional look that you have to the car, but mixed with modern materials, you know, having this stripe painted over the top of the carbon fiber that you have top and bottom of the steering wheel, the way the air vents are shaped over the top, they almost remind me of jet engines, that kind of feel. The seat design and styling, we've got some of the luggage cases here, the beauty cases that sit on the rear shelf behind, the storage compartments in different areas. There we have the logo, this being the prototype of the Codalunga, Pagani Grandi Complicazioni as well. The speakers sitting up on the rear deck, obviously the way all of this is shaped over my head, the switch gear for the lights, everything up here for launch control in the very center up top as well. This is a car that I can't wait in a second to go and experience our driving modes, comfort, sport, race, or if you're feeling brave, turning it all off. The mirrors that sit proud out on the wings. This is my first sensation being seated inside this car. The exposed carbon everywhere as well, the glass panels up on the roof, obviously the cage for carbon over here, made from just 3 pieces as opposed to the 17 or 18 you would find traditionally in a carbon fiber tubbed vehicle. You can see the carbotanium of the lower sections. Obviously, as I mentioned, different types of carbon fibers used depending on the requirements of that specific section, and all of these extra details just all around it. So this is the car. Let me grab my cameras and let's go drive the Codalunga. Here we are then.
Here we are. Hello.
Hello,
it's me. How are you?
Very good, very excited right now.
Me too.
This is a special day in a special car. Ooh, air conditioning.
Yes.
Sorry for the noise in the background, but we need
No
it.
problem. We need. Of course, today is too hot.
Yes, so
Just the steering, the seat.
make sure everything is comfortable.
The seat is okay, the seat position.
The seat is
okay.
nice.
Nice.
Remind me, how do I adjust the mirrors?
Yeah, like this
Ah,
one.
it's in the software.
Yeah.
Ah,
Right.
perfect. Clever.
Exhaust open.
Oh yes, because now you have the new button as
Yes.
well, right?
Yes.
So not only do you have the button for the exhaust,
Go left.
but also the button for the suspension.
Yes. This is super soft.
Here we go.
Yes.
Pagani Codalunga. Okay, well I can already say I have driven the Codalunga.
Yes.
In full concentration. Now, in comfort mode, does it change the suspension?
Yes.
Okay, yes, okay.
You can also appreciate the comfort of this car.
Yeah,
Because the car is very bad. This road is very bad, so you can feel.
Sure, this is really, really, really chopped up. It's very bumpy.
Go straight.
Wow, the sound.
Yeah.
It's quite a different sound to the other models.
Yes.
It's like a higher pitch. This is in comfort. Wow. And all the turbo noise as well.
Yes.
Does the sound change with the driving modes?
No.
So when you have the exhaust open?
Yes, only in race mode. When you release the gas, make a lot of bang inside the exhaust, like a road service. If you put race, you have more bangs.
Oh yes, okay. And a more aggressive shift.
Yes.
Wow. Dropping back into sports for the moment. This is not an ordinary car.
No. No.
I tell you what, you feel like you're driving a sports prototype race car.
Yeah.
The gearbox, the suspension. Those pretty incredible sounds. This is about the experience, I think. This is about knowing that this is not a normal car, you know, this is it goes beyond a car. It's something that was built with the brief, that was created as a bespoke project by the Grandi Complicazioni team. Like this is special.
It's very special.
It's really, really something.
Created with passion.
Yes, created with passion.
Sorry, right?
I like that. The intake sound is so unique. The constant feeling of the air being sucked in for the engine. Acceleration, even at a gentle acceleration, is quite exciting. It's an emotional feeling. Wow. And what I like, when you brake, you see the flaps come up at the front.
Okay. Even in the back.
Oh yes, true. You go into race mode, just a little more noise. For me, this is insane. For you, it is every day.
Yes.
Oh, wow. The noises are unreal. Like, so you drop down the gears.
I usually hear this, but every time I want to see the maximum.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm a little bit lost for words, you know, because on the one hand is driving the car, right? The driving experience, the feeling, the engine, the gearbox, the suspension. but beyond driving, it's also the rarity, the value, the work of art. You know,
Yes.
this is a painting, this is a sculpture, this is not
Yes.
just a car. So you have to think about it with two different hats, two different minds. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, for me this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. This is like, this is a dream.
I feel your passion in cars. Yes.
Like,
Here is very close.
this is absolutely phenomenal. I'm really impressed by how well the car drives. It's very smooth, even for a single clutch gearbox, it's very smooth, but it's very engaging, it's very exciting, you know, it's not... I'm in absolute... This is amazing. This is really amazing. This is like... I have no words. This is Codalunga. The steering is also very nice. The weight, the balance. It's a very, very good feel.
Yeah. The quality of this car it's very high.
And I just look at the dash because this is your prototype test car, right?
Okay.
So you do a lot of kilometers and a lot of driving. And VMAX 336.
Yeah.
So high speed testing.
Yes.
Not 300 kilometers an hour, but hey, it's okay for these roads. Wow. This is like a crazy dream come true. To drive the Pagani Codalunga on these roads in Italy on a beautiful day. You know, as a petrol head, for me, this is like this is perfect.
Yeah.
I like how much in the different modes the gearbox changes. In race, it's very aggressive. In race, bang. If you go to comfort, you need to be more with your throttle and
Yes.
ease into the gear. I think this is my favorite drive on the road in a Pagani car, because the Huayra R at Spa is
Yes.
it's an unfair comparison. Driving the Huayra R at my favorite, one of my favorite racetracks was. But I also drove Mike Yin's Huayra AC at the Nürburgring on the Nordschleife. That was pretty cool. Oh wow. The power delivery is amazing. It's also quite loud, but in a good way. The sound is fantastic. But through the corners, it holds really well. And this is, of course, the engine, like the Roadster BC, so the record holder at Spa, and a really impressive power plant. well, a development of many years working with AMG, right?
Yes.
To create. I drove here today in a very different Italian sports car, the Abarth. I drove here in a little Abarth. Abarth. So I go from one end of Italian sports cars to the other end of Italian sports cars. In absolute style and glory in this car. I like that the person was waving. You know, the passion.
Right? But for the sound, it's not.
The sound of the bangs with the window down. I was going to say the passion in Italy for cars. It's like no other. It's absolutely incredible. I think I expected the car would be a little scary, like intimidating. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like I thought it wouldn't be very welcoming. I thought I would need time to get comfortable. But you feel very comfortable in here.
Yeah, it's immediately.
Yeah, really, really like ready to go, ready to drive. I can listen to the sound like all day because there's so much, it's doing so much. You know, the V12, the turbo, the swooshes, the bangs, like it's a whole orchestra.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
A whole orchestra in one thing, and I control it with my foot.
Yes. Orchestra is the right word.
Yeah. You've got the drums.
Yeah.
Maybe ordered an orchestra. Yeah. This is just crazy. I find it even more crazy that now if I want to drive like this, it's really, really calm. This car has two completely different personalities, two different characters. Now you're just cruising in this elegant 1960s inspired art piece. On the other hand, you're driving like a thorough race car. I don't really know what else to say.
It's the first time that you have no word for a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we pull back in. I think honestly because I can appreciate what this is. You know, as I said, I think this is more than a car.
Yes.
It's not only an incredible car, but it's also an incredible masterpiece. You know, it's everything together. It's always special to drive back through this gate. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure for me to be a passenger.
So cool. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. There we go. Parked back up, there are plenty more things I would like to show you about this car, but one of those is, of course, to open the rear clam to show you the engine. Now, this entire piece over the back of the car is the largest carbon panel that Pagani have made for a car, over 3.5 square meters, because of course of that extra length that hinges from the back. To open it in traditional fashion, you have the leather straps and buckles just here, which are very nice in their own right. Then a catch just to release on the underside. If I head round to the other side to release it over here as well, we'll be able to open this and see the AMG power plant that is housed within. So pull the latch just here, and this entire piece pivots up towards the back, where you can then come on in and have a sneak peek underneath at the engine and the suspension work back here. Just look at that. The AMG full to back crest over the top, of course the V12 designation, that 6 litre 12 cylinder engine, handcrafted by Michael Kubler, F1 Mike from AMG in this case. Just everything that you look at in here. And in fact, I'm going to run around to your side as well. It's going to pop open the catches on the front very quickly, so we're going to open that. But before we do, these are the luggage buckets, the storage bins, which you have on each side of the car as well. These also open up, and then once that's opened, we can reveal inside the bespoke luggage set, which of course, again, absolutely matches the interior of the car in terms of the materials and the finish of that, which is just, it's all about these extra details that you have. Even the dust bag is presented wonderfully. These extra details that you have with a car like this, which are just, they're beyond the norm. They're beyond what you would ever expect in a car. It's more than a car, as I keep saying. Here again, just open these latches, pop this open, feed it through, release the catch just there. This pivots towards the front as well. We have our transformer, and you can see all the carbon work in there with the airflow management, of course, coming in through the cooling, the radiators, but every single part made from carbon fiber, every single part made from the lightest possible materials, every single part with Pagani logos on every bolt, for example. And look at it like this, doors up, front and rear clams open. I mean, it's just amazing. I want to show you a little bit more inside as well. Let me take a step back inside here, where just to the left of the steering column there, you can see that storage bucket, which comes in incredibly handy for your wallet or phone or whatever it might be. And the key, as I mentioned, with this extended shape, which also tucks away onto the leather cutout there in the carbon fiber central console. It's all of these exposed components, the finish of everything that you look at and that you touch. Everything is just presented in such a nice way, even down to how you open the glove box, for example. Another little case stowed away in there, the Codalunga badging, the dashboard components, the carbon, the mix of carbon leather and exterior painted coloured sections as well. Foot on the brake, let's press the magic button for a moment. Oh, it's such an awesome sound as well. Look at that front clam actually opened up in front of me right now. The light controls, the launch button. I could go on forever about this. And the screen, obviously this is where, currently in Italian, you have your settings to adjust the mirrors. It's all controlled through here. Obviously you've got all your usual music, destination and functionality that you'd hope to find available through that system. The leather floor mats that you have, the carpets up to the carbon fiber. I'm just taking it all in while I sit here. Look at this. Into gear, into neutral. You need to go into reverse, push it forwards there. Of course, a reversing camera. Back into neutral. Control through there. The buttons we've mentioned for the exhaust. So that button will turn on the louder exhaust. That's a really, really nice sound. Obviously beeping at us because the doors are open and so forth, but yeah, I think you get the point. This is a special day, and a very special experience. The horns are up here, by the way, but even these controls, up and down on the steering wheel, same on this side. Your indicators, automatic manual for the gearbox, for different driving modes, your headlight settings, the shift paddles. Yeah. Look at this in here, Pagani, the way it's etched into the design, multiple layered 3D texture style counters and dials that you have there. The more time that I'm spending looking at this car, the more details that I'm actually taking in, it's blowing my mind even further to show you up close. And of course it's super simple, as we've talked about, and that's what makes it so elegant. But for example here, these are the hinges for the rear clam, obviously what we've used just now to open it up. But the rear, as you can see, is kept in this remarkably elegant way, these very smooth body panels. There are no big wings and fins. It's a completely different approach, which is inspired by Horatio's love of the 60s and 70s prototypes, but I think also connects quite nicely to what the Huayra was to begin with. Huayra literally being an Argentinian wind, that's the name. Obviously, this being super slippery to almost glide through the wind. The wheels are a throwback to the original Huayra wheels with these turbine-style pieces inside, which are again similar to what you have inside the car, and the colour is actually called pearl beige that you have for the inside parts of that, fitted with the Trofeo R tyres. But down the side, again, clean, large panels, some openings here, and it's these details like the floating Pagani crest here, hanging off those parts just behind the front axle, which again really add to it all. And this in some ways preempted the design of the Utopia, the latest and third full Pagani model, if you will. The Zonda launching back in '99, the Huayra in 2011, and Utopia in 2022, which I was able to see at its presentation. And there might be more coming with that very soon. But this is a car that has actually impressed me the most, probably in, firstly, how it's not overly intimidating. You can jump into a lot of these cars and they are terrifying to drive. Secondly, how dual charactered it is. In the super soft suspension mode and in comfort, it just glides along in 7th gear, it just oozes along. Yet if you go the other way and you pop it into race and you drive it in a lower gear, you've got this explosion of sounds and noises and the swooshes and turbos and bangs, and it's that whole orchestra, as we were saying. You're in control of everything with your shifts through the gears and your right foot on the throttle pedal, depending what you're going for. In terms of experiences, which is what I wanted to share with you today, it's quite hard to top that, really. To be here in the Italian sunshine, visiting the home of Pagani, to know what they've achieved over the last now 24 years, and to create, and I think create is the right word, masterpieces like this. It's not just building a car, it's something well beyond that. It's truly impressive, and I feel honoured to have had the opportunity to come and drive this, one of very few people to have been behind the wheel of the Codalunga. Obviously this is an exciting time for the Grandi Complicazioni team in terms of the other projects they are no doubt working on behind the scenes, but for me today, that's been amazing. Thank you so much to everyone here. Thank you to you guys for your support as always. Without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. Driving Pagani's Codalunga. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.